Final rapid game coming up, and Magnus Carlsen, Alireza Firouzja are ready to go. Firouzja with the white pieces. But when you're in a must-win situation, playing against Alireza at least gives you the hope that there are big chances of getting a dynamic position. You know he's not going to have a solid approach.
He never does. Have you ever seen him play a solid game, David?
I can count maybe on one hand how many times I've seen Alireza play for a draw. Alireza normally plays principled chess, aggressive chess, and creative chess, and that's why he has so many fans out there. Magnus, meanwhile, not looking the most energized I've ever seen, but he will be trying to cook up a strategy to create winning chances with black.
This is a big game for more than just the two players in front of our screens right now. And of course, headed over to, and it is this game. Magnus Carlsen needs a win to take it to Armageddon and to offer a helping hand to his good friend, his good rival, Hikaru Nakamura. Now, there have been trades in the center. Perhaps we can, it looks like a non-standard Sicilian to me, David. We can back up and see how we got here.
Yeah, let's backtrack. We're only at move 9 in this one. Magnus has been playing super quickly up to this point. Let's go from the start. Quick action replay here. It was the Sicilian defense, one of the openings that is most widely employed at the top level in a must-win situation. It leads to fighting chess, no forced draws, no solid lines here for white. Maybe apart from this one, a bishop b5 check. This is giving black a few options, but not declaring any action in the center yet. And I just want to mention this move. After a pawn pushing forward, asking the bishop to take this knight, Magnus plays queen takes bishop. And I last saw this in a game with Magnus Carlsen. He played it as black in a must-win situation against Maxim Vachier-Lagrave years ago on the Grand Chess Tour. He employs it again. And he was not successful in that game winning with black. But look at this. It's imbalanced. Black does have a backward pawn, and the square in front of it is a nice juicy outpost for white's knight. But black has the bishop pair. A bit of a threat on the board as well, a skewer, hitting the queen, hitting the rook, which Alireza needs to deal with. And at least there's enough imbalance here to give Magnus long-term hope.
Yeah, so Alireza, he slid his rook on over to d1 to avoid that threat. But I'm totally with you. As far as being in a must-win situation, this is pretty much an ideal start to a game. 10 moves in, you have the bishop pair. There's no clarity. There's no easy way to liquidate, to simplify, trade everything off. So I think that Magnus has done the right thing. And I'm also looking at the clock. The clock was not his ally in that first game against Alireza. He said to Kaya, well, I struggled with just seconds on my clock. It was too much to calculate for a blitz scramble. And here, he's ahead by 3 minutes. He has a healthy position. He has the experience that Alireza may not. And we know that Alireza, he's 2,800 at his peak, but he also just isn't as old as Magnus. He can't possibly have the experience that the former world champion does.
Yeah, I like black's options as well. If you get time to put a pawn on h6, bring the knight out to f6, push your pawns on the b file, push the pawns on the queen side. Great chances long-term, so Alireza has to act fast. He's not acting fast on the clock, and Magnus will be gaining in confidence every second that ticks away. Maybe Hikaru taking a peek at this one, feeling a bit more optimistic as we see Alireza prevent any queenside pawn advances, but this does give Magnus time to develop his pieces. And once he gets castled, we'll see a fighting middle game.
And that's the big aim right now for Magnus, to get those kingside pieces into the game. Meanwhile, these Sicilians have always understood that the fight is around that d5 square. If white is able to plant a piece there in a nice, comfortable way, white is better. If black is able to get the d5 break in, black is absolutely fine. Which makes me think that there can be long-term plans for Alireza here to try and reroute that knight from f3 to find a good way to arrive to d5. One of the ways that you can do it
game as long as possible for Firouzja.
And the one thing Alireza has to avoid is bringing his king forward to a6. It looks like the best move, but you're walking into a pin, so that would free up the black king. I don't know how Magnus makes progress anymore. He can't move his king without losing his a-pawn.
Oh, he's blocking out the white rook. This is really clever. Maybe forcing that sacrifice in the next few turns. But he's going behind Alireza, and the moment of truth, he does sacrifice. It's rook and bishop versus rook. Start your counters. It's the 50-move rule kicking in.
And did you see Magnus's reaction there? He says, okay, I'm ready for this one now. This is going to be a fight. It is rook bishop versus rook, a theoretical draw, but can Alireza hold for the next 50 moves?
And what you often want to do is keep your king and rook on the other color of that bishop. That's a great move by Magnus. He's trying to restrict the scope of that rook, but you need to bring your king closer. Magnus starts on the right path.
Magnus needs to force the white king onto one of the 4 sides of the board, and only then will there be checkmating ideas, but that's going to take a while. Alireza cutting off the black king. I'm pretty sure he studied this for hours and hours throughout his career. The top players spend a lot of time on this, but it's all about the nerves, whether he cracks. Only a few seconds left.
And I'm sure Magnus has studied this completely as well. So he knows how to try to get the white king to the edge of the board, the way to create the best chance. And it'll come down to those final moments. Does Alireza know those critical defenses when the king is in the last rank or the corner?
Alireza's nervous. He's down under 5 seconds. You could see him hesitating with his king move. That black king can now go to the center. That white king is being pushed to the edge of the board, but he can use the Cochrane defense, pin the bishop from a distance. He does that, so it's clear that Alireza knows what he's doing.
And now you've got to be really careful. You don't want to commit. The white king is ready to do a bit of a dance here. If black's king later goes one way, the white king will go the other. Now we'll see the white king go up the board, surely, in the next move or two. Ooh, Alireza, he's doing everything right so far, but still big nervous moments ahead.
It's Magnus Carlsen who's got less time on the clock than Alireza. The clocks are now absolutely level, and hesitancy there by Alireza. He finally decides to go to 8-6 with his king.
And that black king is inching closer because white wants to put that rook on the g-file and trade the rooks off. Not allowed here. If that bishop, it snakes back, here it comes. If it gets to f5, that white king could be in a mating net.
Oh, and there it is. Back. He's losing now. Yep. He's in the net.
He's in the net. He walked right into the net. Bishop can even...
And they know it. They know it.
This is a well-known winning position. Black's rook will come round now and deliver a killer blow. The white king has no escape squares. Any check on the h-file will be decisive. Magnus goes the long way round, and white is stuck.
Alireza, with a smile, he knows this is all over. He's gotten his king at the wrong side. There's a mate in one being threatened that you cannot fight against. Magnus Carlsen gets the job done, takes it to Armageddon. Alireza is disappointed. He had this one. A draw would have seen him through. And the other man who is very relieved with this result is Hikaru Nakamura.
You can defend for a long time, but you have to defend forever when Magnus Carlsen is grinding against you. The eval bar went to the center, but looks can be deceiving, and Alireza Firouzja, he couldn't hold in that rook and bishop versus rook ending.
We've got an Armageddon coming up. The bids are being written.